What is going on, guys? I am Serge over at Fagan's Fretboard Academy here in Tucson, Arizona. And today I'm going to be talking about how I play really fast and clean at the same time. And I'm actually going to give you guys a couple exercises that will help you with that. But I also want to talk about a few fundamentals first that will make you able to achieve this lightning speed technique. But first, before I start, let's just go over what the exercise is today that I'm going to show you in order to achieve it. It's very simple, and it's not actually that musical, but it's really something that will just get your speed up and get your playing a lot cleaner. So here it is. The technique just goes 5, 6, 7, 8 across all the strings, and then we're going to string skip on the way down. So here it is, ascending first. And then when we descend, we're going to skip the strings and then go up a string each time. Here's what that's going to look like slow. And here's the whole pattern, up and down at full speed. Alright, so before we get into actually how I play this pattern, let's talk about the way you should hold your pick, okay? Because I feel like this is never talked about amongst guitar players, and then people wonder why they can't keep up with playing super fast, okay? A lot of people think that it has to do with like having, you know, some sort of mysterious talent or technique, but it's really just the lack of information out there about how you're supposed to hold your guitar pick. So of course, you know, here's how I'm holding my pick right now. Very relaxed hand. Now that's the first thing I want to say is you need to relax as much as possible. I don't use a super tight grip, nor do I use a loose grip. It's just kind of in the middle, just enough that I don't drop the pick. I'm using Dunlop Jazz 3 XLs, and they're full-sized. Okay, I've used regular tiny jazz picks as well as the full-size. I really like the full-size because the pointed edge, and they're not flimsy, okay? So if you want to play, you know, lightning speed, you got to use picks that are not going to bend on you at all. I call it battering the pick because when you play through the strings, you do not want to batter your pick, meaning that you don't really want the pick to move from the string getting hit. You just want it to be all in your wrist, and the pick needs to be as solid as a rock. So let's talk about the second thing you need to do when you're holding your pick is you don't want to mount the guitar from up here, okay? Like, meaning that you don't want the base of your wrist to be what is moving your hand. We don't move side to side, okay? We move forward and backwards. It might not look like that when I'm playing, but that's because the way that I position my hand on the guitar is open like this, okay? Meaning that I dip the top of the pick into the strings, allowing my wrist to move forward and backwards instead of side to side, because this is an unnatural movement for your wrist. It's going to fatigue you. This is completely natural, okay? So I'm starting at neutral position, I'm bending my wrist back, and then going back to neutral every time, okay? This will allow you to play for hours without ever getting tired, and it's really, you know, something you have to experiment with that's going to be most comfortable for you. But if you're playing a Strat style guitar, I like to position my wrist kind of near the bridge on the back, and then this gives me a nice anchor. And notice that my fingers are loose here. They're not gripped like this. Some people prefer to play that way, although I believe that that also can cause strain if you do that improperly. So I like to leave my fingers out like this when I play. Now let's talk about the last thing, and that is pick slanting, okay? I will make a separate video on that because it's a rabbit hole in itself. But you really don't want to flat pick anything at all, okay? Especially if you're trying to gain speed. This is a no-go because it also positions your hand to have to go side to side, versus when you slant the pick, it positions your hand differently, natural to the slope of your arm, allowing you to pick forward and backwards. That's why we pick slant. On top of that, it allows the pick to do downstrokes with the front side of the pick and upstrokes with the back side of the pick. And that's how you want to pick through your strings, is like a knife, because you'll never get stuck on the strings. It's literally like slicing bread, okay? So now that we have all of that out of the way, let's talk about how I'm gonna play this pattern now. And again, I'm using all my fingers and playing all the frets in a row like this. my downstroke is always going to be an accent. This allows me to mentally process where I'm at in the pattern, okay? Meaning that I'm not confused, my brain is not confused, and my hand stays the same. So I pick this down like this, and then my second stroke, the upstroke, is a normal stroke, and the next downstroke is normal, and the next upstroke is normal, okay? Now you want to keep your picking pattern exactly the same as you play this. It's always starting with a downstroke, and you want to accent that downstroke. In order to accent the downstroke, you want to flick your wrist hard enough, but also not to where it's going to hurt to play. You just want to flick that string like this. And now as I do my upstroke, think of the upstroke more as an outstroke, because it's coming away from you like this. And this gives you enough momentum mid-air to be able to come down on the next set of strings, okay? So every time you're playing, you want the pick to have momentum. Think about it like a trampoline, okay? You don't want to find the string and try to put the pick where you want it to be. You want your hand just to have enough momentum that you can be as elastic as possible while you're playing. So here we go. Accent, accent, accents, 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 and I end, look how high I'm ending. And now, of course, I'm exaggerating this a little bit just to show the camera here, but eventually you want to minimize this movement to get that speed. Okay, then check it out. I'm going to go down. Same concept. The accents are in the same spots on the same beat. Here we go. And now when you get to this string, you're going to repeat it so that way your hand doesn't get off. You always want to start, like I said, with a downstroke and have an even amount of strokes, okay? Even if it's an odd amount of notes, but in this case, it's an even amount of notes. So here we go. Okay, and the more you speed this up over time, the more that this is going to get ingrained in muscle memory in your right hand, because this is really about your right hand more than your left hand. A lot of people think that playing fast is about how fast this hand can go, but it's really about how fast your right hand can go, and you want to synchronize the two hands together in your brain so that way it flows together while you're playing. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the technique one more time, but with the metronome. I have my metronome set at about 60 BPMs, and we're going to count this as whole notes on the metronome. Okay, so here's how you want to count this. You want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how fast your notes are going to be as you're playing. Of course, you can slow it down if you have to, but for this purpose, we're going to do it at 60, just so you can see kind of a neutral speed on this. Now check this out. If you really want to get crazy with it, you're going to count the beats on 2. This is going to help your timing and again syncing the hands together. So you're going to 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you can take this pattern and actually do it in triplets. So you kind of like this. Triple it, 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 triple it. So these are all the patterns that you can play, and of course we can take this pattern and shift it many times over if you want to move up the frets and then do the string skip part, or if you want to skip strings ascending. You can change this pattern into many different variations. The main thing that you want to remember while you're playing this is starting every single new string on a downstroke, okay? As long as you're doing that and switching strings after an upstroke, you will be able to achieve this pattern at speed and faster than that, and eventually speed it up as fast as you want to go. And this will really help your alt picking, playing, and economy picking, and all of your right hand technique. So, like I always say, I hope you got a lot out of this video today, and I really appreciate all of you for watching. And of course, if you are local to the Tucson area, make sure you stop by Fagan's Fretboard Academy, and I'll see you on the next one.